What's going on, everybody? This is John, and here we have Andrei, one of my very, very hardworking and most disciplined clients that I wanted to have an interview with today. Andrei has been working with me for a little over a year, and we've been through a very, very successful transformation from the start all the way to the end. And I wanted to share with you guys his crazy success story. So, first off, Andrei, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Today's good. I'm feeling good, and I'm glad to be here speaking to
Awesome.
my.
I'm glad to have you. So let's just start off with this question first. So, what was your biggest problem that you had prior to joining my coaching program?
So prior to meeting John, I was self-taught. So I learned most of the basics off of YouTube and just online reading. But prior to meeting John, I learned how to track. I knew the workouts, but I never had structure in my diets, and even in my time at the gym, it was like kind of come in, get a pump, and I thought that would be good enough for me to move forward. I was consistent, I was persistent, but in the end, I wasn't getting any results, or if anything, it would take a very long time. From my own personal journey, it took longer than probably a knowledgeable person would take in their own fitness journey. So I was struggling in my own progress in terms of the diet and also develop getting some results in the gym. So yeah, prior to meeting John, I was pretty much lost, and there was just so much information on, like, I can only go through so much. And then yeah, one day I found John on Instagram, and I was just so impressed with like his story and his accomplishments, and I was just so fond of it. I was like, wow, this is really impressive. I gotta talk to this guy and introduce myself. And I still remember that time I actually slid into his DMs, kind of just like,
Oh,
hey
there you
John,
go.
this is so impressive. Like, my name is Andre. I'm very passionate about this and that. And then ever since, I kind of just followed him and watched what he did. And then yeah, just that's how I pretty much first began with John. And eventually, I got into one of his what do you call those contests? Like you
The
host like a
fitness challenge,
contest for
the fitness
fitness
challenge.
challenge. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I participated in it. I didn't win, but yeah, that's when we started talking, and then you opened up to me how you can help me achieve my fitness goals. And for me, as I'm very passionate about fitness in general, so
Hmm.
I'm still curious to learn. I can't just be learning from these online gurus when I have a coach right here who's presenting himself to me. So the timing just came in perfectly. So I signed on with John, and ever since then, my life has changed. Like, definitely a 180 transformation, physically and mentally, I'd say.
Absolutely, man. I think
So
the changes that you made were beyond just the physical side of things, right? I think your focus, your
definitely.
discipline, your level of commitment to this lifestyle has elevated itself from when you first started to now. Like, what exactly made the process of my program so effective with your fitness journey?
So how it affected my journey personally was you first of all, you were there to guide me through the process of it. So as I was being guided by you, you provided me my workouts and my nutrition plans, and if anything, you also had these like a conference like for all your other clients too. So
Right.
I was able to learn off of that, and even from the program you sent me, I had some basic information that I learned from as well, like things I've never heard of. Let's say progressive overload. I've never actually heard of that term until I started training with you. Even
Mm,
deload and
right.
simple terms that I've never heard about in bodybuilding in general, and high carb days. Like, I never knew those things existed. Like, I knew what macros were, and I knew what fats, proteins, and carbs were, but I never knew there were specific things in nutrition and in fitness that would actually contribute to your progression. So having signed up with you, I've learned all these things for the first time. And as I kept training and learning, it just kept coming all together to me. And then next thing I know, I kind of developed my own uh, like knowledge of it. So like like we've discussed, you pretty much laid it all up. You laid it all up for me, and I just all I had to do was work for it. And ever since then, is definitely learned a lot from you personally. So just a lot to learn and
Yeah, man.
such.
And I think
Yeah.
part of the process, from what I remember throughout our journey, was before you would always cut out your carbs, right? And just kind of
Yes, yeah, I
be
forgot to
focused
mention that.
on
Yeah.
you
So
know, depleting all the carbs to lose the weight. Whereas in our focus, our journey, we try to maximize the amount of carbs we eat to lose as much
yeah,
weight as possible.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So as
I
as
was
a result
initially
of yeah, so as like a
sorry,
result
what
of
was that?
implementing the program, like what was the overall outcome with that?
Oh, so when you put an increase into my carbs, I fully trusted you in the process. I never doubted, but being by myself before, I was, yeah, like you mentioned, I was afraid of carbs, so I kept it very minimal. And
Mhm.
I think that was the reason why I wasn't progressing so much in the gym, because my carbs are so low and I just felt weak in general. But then when you provided my own protocols, and I decided that I'm gonna fully trust you on it. And ever since then, I've seen a lot of personal results in the gym in terms of my own strength. And not only I've when we got into our cutting phase, I can still see myself getting stronger because of the good amount of carbs I was consuming in the process of it. And it was more than I was consuming when I was cutting on my own. So the amount that I was consuming was just so like low. But then with you, it was a good amount, and I was still losing weight while also gaining strength. So that was the most shocking thing to me. Like I was still losing weight, but at the same time lifting heavy, and that was really, like, I was so proud to see that I can still keep the performance top notch. So that was something I learned through you, that I shouldn't be fearful of carbs, and that's the truth. So now I'm like, whenever I see something that's so high carb content, as long as I track it and implement it properly, it's no longer something I'm afraid about, and that's all thanks to you.
Hey man, yeah, I'm glad I can show you the way of carbs because I think a lot of people tend to be scared, right? And if you can incorporate
Yeah,
carbs,
completely
get
like cut it
shredded,
off. Yeah,
and just like get strong while doing
yeah,
so, why not, right? So, I mean, how
yeah.
has your life changed then since achieving your results?
Uh, Aside from what I've seen personally, I've also inspired a lot of people through my own transformation, and like they don't know that I've just kept silent and just doing my own thing, and the next thing I know, oh, your jaw is more sharper now. Oh, you look so lean, man. What's going on? And I'm like, oh, I'm just dedicating myself and my time to the gym, and I love it and whatnot. So from the time then versus now, I could say I'm definitely more knowledgeable, and definitely have inspired a few people and a few of my friends, and it is something I can see myself doing in a very, very long time. I just enjoy the process of it and just seeing my body grow and the changes, and overall just learning more each day as I go forward. So definitely a lot different than where I was before. More confident, and yeah, like I said, I feel like I can do better than where I am right now. For
Yeah,
sure.
man. So, I mean, what are the plans, like future plans?
Future plans, I'd like to the cut that we gone through together has revealed, like I mentioned before, has revealed some areas for me to work on, and
Mhm.
we both discussed that already. And once the timing is right and I have the time for it, I'll definitely would one day hopefully step on the stage and of course
Okay,
come to the person who's changed my life and guide me through the process one more time. So that's
let's go,
definitely something.
man.
That's definitely something in the books.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Yeah,
you have the commitment, the discipline, the focus, and the mindset to do that. Now we just need to get your body prepared and ready to be able to step on stage and compete competitively, right? So
yeah,
I'm excited for that. Um,
awesome. Yeah, me
so, I
too.
mean, is there anything else you'd like to add in case there's someone out there that wants to achieve like the accomplishments that you have?
Oh yeah, definitely. So one thing I can advise other people out there is invest yourself on a coach, because my mistake was before was going on YouTube, reading all these online articles and online gurus. It's all a variety of knowledge here and there, and you never know which one works properly. But being with a coach, not only to keep you accountable, they provide you all the questions that you're seeking for, and the best thing, it's like a little guardian that's like right next to you, guiding you along the way. And it's definitely got me to where I am right now. So whenever I meet someone who's asking about my fitness journey, I always tell them invest yourself in the coach, because they will change your life physically, mentally, and even the ways. If you really are passionate about fitness, it's something that you should go for yourself, because it really is a lifestyle change for people who are very new to it. Because even once you develop all these knowledge, it's almost like the sky is the limit because there's so many things you can do once you've learned, and then just keep applying and applying. But definitely, a coach would definitely change their life in terms of their fitness and their fitness journey. So it's one thing I could ever like say to encourage someone.
Yeah, like what was the difference between having a coach versus trying it on your own and doing like, the online workouts and research?
I was lost. Like I didn't know if this is working. I was getting impatient and then go to the next one. We tried that for a while and it wouldn't work. So I
Mm,
couldn't have a reliable source to know if it's gonna work for me. But versus having a coach, they can actually understand. It's almost like they can understand how your body works and how what kind of nutrition works for you. As if for me, if I was on my own, like these people don't know who I am. It's very based off generic audience, and but being with the coach itself, it's like they know what your capabilities are and what type of foods work for you, and they can pretty much guide you all the way. So it's one big benefit of having someone to guide you, especially someone who's as knowledgeable as you too. So that's one big difference I found between having a coach versus just going on YouTube and doing your own thing.
fair enough. Yeah, I think a lot of times people think they can do it on their own and they do it on their own, but a lot of time can be wasted. And that was something that I
Yeah,
personally went through myself when I first started out because I tried to do it on my own for the first 2 years. And I plateaued very quickly after 2 years. I couldn't deadlift over 500 pounds. And I got stuck for like 6 months before I injured myself. And then once I injured myself, I kind of realized that I should have, reached
yeah,
out for help and then find someone that can build me a proper program that didn't lead to an injury. And then after hiring a coach myself, the results just kind of skyrocketed and haven't really been slowing down since. So I think,
yeah, it definitely helps.
yeah, I think having that guidance and expertise is just going to save yourself time and possibly, save yourself from getting injured as well. I think so. Uh,
Exactly. One thing if I could add is from what I've learned on my own for over a year, could have been lessened if I had just signed up with a coach. Because like 'cause what I've learned from you was definitely a shorter span compared to what I was learning, and that took me a very long time. So yeah, definitely. And having you teach me the fundamentals and provided me the tools that I need has actually helped me break my plateaus in the gym. Like I remember the first
yeah,
time I deadlifted 3 plates, I was like blown
yeah,
away. I was like, holy moly! Like, I was stuck at like I think 2 plates and 25 for as long as I can remember. And next thing I know, I try to sell 3 plates. Whoa, that was
just
and
like
then
that.
just blew my mind. My squats, yeah, my squats went up, and then even my bench. I was like, whoa, it is my bench is very weak, but I was able to push new limits, and I was blown away seeing the whole thing. I'm like, wow, this is really impressive. Like I did not even see that coming from myself, and I wouldn't have accomplished all those overcome those plateaus if it weren't for you. So not only like I've learned how to structure my diet, but I've also developed the structure in the gym. So
Yeah,
definitely a lot different from where I was before.
for sure, man. You made some like massive gains, like PRs on PRs. So I'm excited for
Thank
the
you.
future and see what kind of lifts you can accomplish. So yeah. So I
Definitely,
mean,
yeah, definitely.
for the people out there, like, what would you tell someone? Let's say if someone they're kind of on the edge with just even starting out their fitness journey, what would you tell someone to really pull the trigger to make this switch and execute and commit to this kind of lifestyle?
I'd say just take it day by day. And I know people like to rely on motivation, but it honestly goes down to self discipline. I like to think of discipline as like the best way of uh, your best self expression of self care. Like if you ever do care about yourself and your well being, you got to put in the work to better yourself. And the gym is definitely an outlet for that.
Yeah,
And one thing that I would encourage people in the gym is to never compare themselves to anyone, because that's one thing that really holds people back from putting in the work. Because they come into the gym, they see someone lifting so much heavier than them, but they never realize sometimes my own personal journey. I never thought about how they had to go through the baby steps as well, but then they just train longer than me. So now that's the mindset that I carried on with me, and the next thing I know, I could care less about what chapter they are and versus what I'm in, because I am in my own path and I'm creating my own journey for myself. So yeah, if there's anything I could encourage people out there to put themselves through and get that trigger point is to just take it day by day and always be passionate, be curious, and be be true to yourself and focus on your own journey and not anyone else's journey.
Yeah,
And that way you'll evolve a lot more than you'll be where you were then.
for sure. So do you feel like committing and just having this lifestyle has positively impacted you and maybe other parts of your life?
Oh yeah, definitely. If there's one thing I've learned is definitely the discipline. I was able to apply the discipline I have for fitness in regards to what I have going on in my life in terms
Mhm.
of my career and other things I have going on. And uh, being consistent, that's definitely taught me a value of it. There's a quote I read and it totally related to it. So the quote was, "Success is 5% brains and 95% consistency."
Yeah,
And that totally makes sense because not everyone gets successful unless they're consistent with what they're doing. So being consistent is something that I've learned as well through fitness and saying no. If I'm gonna be honest about that.
no,
Saying no.
for
It's
sure.
definitely trained me how to say no. Yeah.
Sometimes
That's
you
a
got
good thing because
sometimes you got to prioritize yourself, right? Because you have people trying to not necessarily sabotage, but maybe slowing you down in terms of
yeah,
your progress. And when you can say no to certain occasions like that, I think that that's a good thing for yourself and just your self care. And then once you really get
exactly.
into that rhythm of just improving yourself internally, mentally, physically, then you just slowly just become the best version of yourself. So I mean,
That's
you
yeah.
kind of feel like that's kind of the path that you're on right now with being in this kind of fitness lifestyle?
Yeah, it's when the times I've said no, I've actually looked back to those times and I tell myself I'm glad I decided to prioritize myself and my own goals because I'm definitely a lot happier now than I was then because of having to prioritize my own personal goals to to get to where I am right now. So it's definitely helped me a lot too.
For sure,
Yeah,
man.
and I love it.
Yeah, this lifestyle is unbeatable, right?
Yeah, definitely. Very, I can see this as a very long term thing for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
priority.
All right. Well, it was nice having you on today's interview. Again, very, very
Thanks for
happy
having me.
with your hard work over the last year, and I feel like we have a lot more progress to make, and that's the exciting part about this is because I think fitness and this overall lifestyle is just a never-ending journey of improvement, right? Internally, mentally,
Yeah,
physically. So we got a lot of gains ahead of us. I'm excited to work with you to reach the
I'm excited.
destination. So if you're
Yeah.
ready to work, I'm ready to work, and let's make it happen.
Thanks again, John. Appreciate the time.
All right, Andrei. Well, it was great having you on today's interview, and let's keep working.
Let's get it.
All right.